Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Venice Irving, and welcome to Live with Venice. This is the informative show that we have every week where we teach you how you can cope with COVID-19. How are you doing? I hope you are fine. And today I have a special guest for you. Her name is Wanda Black, and Wanda has lots of experience with freelancing. She's a freelance writer, author, and online entrepreneur. To date, she has self-published over 100 books. Yes, 100 books. And she is traditionally a published author as well. She also develops and teaches online writing courses, and she heads an online writing company called Inkwell Editorial. So I will get on Miss Wanda soon, but before I do so, I want you to I want you to share this post on your Facebook to your Facebook page so that your friends could get the information about how you can get money by doing freelancing work. Also, if you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also share and like this video on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to share, and I hope you will share too. In addition to that, I'm going to ask you, please, can you also put your name and where you're streaming in from in the comment box below? All right, so make sure you put your name and where you're streaming from in the comment box below. Okay, so let's get started with Wanda.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Venice, for having me.
It is so good to have you, Wanda. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. This is my first webinar, so I am excited to share the information that I have with your audience and from anybody who wants to listen.
Okay, so Wanda, the first question I want to ask you is, where are you streaming from?
I'm streaming from Antigua. I'm actually American, for those who don't know, but I lived in Jamaica for 5.5 years.
Yes.
This goes into freelancing. You can freelance from anywhere.
Remind me, where in Jamaica were you living?
Negril.
Negril.
Yes, and I still keep an apartment there. I go back 2 to 3 times a year for a month or two at a time.
Right.
And I'm actually in Antigua now because I came to visit my boyfriend. My boyfriend is Jamaican, but he works here. So I've been here since March.
Okay, so you're in Antigua. And as far as I know, you're doing your online freelancing work, correct?
Absolutely. Always.
All right. So we are going to be talking about online freelancing work. So the first thing I want to ask you, Wanda, is who is a freelancer?
Well, a freelancer is anybody who is employed, basically doing their own thing. They call them independent contractors, contract employees, but like freelance, a landscaper can be a freelancer, a photojournalist can be a freelancer, a graphic designer can be a freelancer, Uber drivers are freelancers. So it encompasses a wide variety of people, but basically it means that you're self-employed.
Okay. And who can become a freelancer? If I'm a teacher, can I become a freelancer?
Oh, absolutely. Teachers are well suited to become freelancers because number one, they have a defined skill set, and that skill set can be used in many different ways. So for example, data mining is really, huge online. So is tutoring, and so is copywriting. So all of those, so is coaching, all of those skills, a teacher can tap into their existing skill set and make a freelance business out of it.
All right. So what services do freelancers offer?
Oh my God, Venice, it runs the gamut. You can be, like I said, a business coach, an administrative assistant, a customer service rep, an online tutor, an online coach, a copywriter, a blogger. All of those are freelance services.
Virtual assistants, right?
Oh, sorry, say that again.
I said virtual assistants.
Virtual assistants. Oh, absolutely. Admin assistant, accounting and bookkeeping. They're just hundreds of different jobs that freelancers can do. Graphic designers, logo designers, tons of different niches.
Okay, so I'm getting from you that I can do many different jobs. It doesn't really matter my background. But where do
Right.
I go to find these jobs?
Well, the best place to start, and a lot of people will eschew the advice that I'm about to give, but I say if you're brand new and you don't know anything about freelancing, the best way to know what services are in demand and which services that you can possibly offer are freelance marketplaces like Upwork and Fiverr. Because if you have a lot of profiles, say under freelance writing, you have a lot of people offering that service, then that tells you that a lot of people are interested in and buying that service. So, just go to those sites, find out what's popular right now, then mine your own skill set and see what matches up or what intersects. And if you don't find anything that will intersect, the best thing to do is, okay, what can I train to do? Because, like, for example, I'm an SEO writer. SEO means search engine optimization. I taught myself to do that. I was already a writer. I already had a degree in English, but I'm like, oh, I don't know this SEO, but I taught myself to do it. And bim, bam, boom, here I am 12 years later.
Okay, so you can teach yourself a skill and then
You can
offer services to do that skill.
Oh, absolutely. Or you can take a course. But I tell people if you have no money, and right now, like a lot of people are home doing this COVID-19 crisis, all you have is time. Get on places like YouTube. If there's one thing that's talked about
So
online is
true.
freelancing, and you can always find somebody who's doing what you want to do, and then figure out, okay, how do I do that as well? Whether it's taking a course or learning via YouTube videos, you just have to put in the time and the effort.
Okay, so can I make a career out of this?
Oh, absolutely. I've been freelancing since 1993, and
Wow.
I've done it full time that entire time, except for an 18-month period between 2006 and 2007. And I don't know if you remember back then, that's when the foreclosure crisis and the world
Yes.
economic crisis was going on. So
Wow.
I had a job. Yeah, but then my job went away because of that crisis. So luckily I had never given up freelancing, so I was able to hop right back in.
All right, so that's interesting that you've been doing this since 1993, full time, with
Full time,
nothing
except for that
else.
18-month period. Yeah, I'd like to tell you, except for
Right.
that 18-month period, full time since then.
All right, so what do you say to someone who is scared to go out there? I mean, you know that right now during this COVID-19 period, and even before, people are getting laid off. And many people are kind of skeptical, saying that, I'm not sure if this freelancing work is something that can sustain me and my family month to month to month over the years. What would you say to someone that has that hesitation?
The first thing I would say is that's a very valid fear. So don't feel weird about having that fear. I think you'd have to
Okay.
be crazy not to be afraid. But
Right.
the second thing I would say is just do it. Really, the only way to learn how to do something or to get over a fear is, in my belief, is to confront it head on. I mean, for example, when I took that job back in 2006, 2007, I had bought a house. I had moved from New York, moved to Atlanta, bought a house, and I had a whole bunch of overhead expenses. So I'm like, I'm tired of scrounging for freelance work. Let me just go out and find a job. And I did. And it went along great for 18 months. And then that world economic crisis hit and I was out of a job again. I tried to find another job that would cover my bills, but I couldn't. So I said, I have to make freelancing work. And I realized that
Right.
freelancing for me is more stable than a job. So I said, you just have to do it. And then the other thing I would say is niche it, and put in the work. It's not going to happen overnight. For some people it does. You read about freelance. Oh, I started 6 months ago and now I'm making $6,000 a month. But good for you. But it just doesn't
Right.
happen like that for most
That's
people.
beginner's
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, it really, but the thing is, but it can, if you look up and you get in a defined niche and you have contacts in certain, and it can happen. But what I like to tell people is take the long range view of your freelance career. If this is something you want to do long term, and do a business plan from the beginning. And I'm not talking about a Harvard or a Yale, like business plan, but figure
Yeah.
out what your niche is, what you're going to charge. And the way I tell people to charge is charge what you need to pay your bills in the beginning. Because a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't charge that. It makes all of us look bad. You're charging too little. Nobody pays your bills at the beginning of the month but you. So figure out what your bills are, figure out what you need to make, and say, okay, in the first 6 months, I want to be able to cover X. And in a year, I want to be able to cover X. And then 2 years from now, I want to be able to quit. And I always say, set a quit date, because that will light a fire under you to keep going. And if you have a business plan, you know what goals you should be hitting week in and month out, and, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know it's a lot of information, up front, but basically just, you have to do it. Make it a plan and then attack it.
So this is good information, right? So let me just backtrack and review. You're saying that if somebody is currently in a full-time job, they should set a date to quit.
That you want to quit, yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Work towards that date and then start their freelancing work. In addition, if they're in their full-time job right now and they may not have that skill to do freelancing right now, they should enroll in a course, do some form of training, or learn a skill or talent that they can, when they're ready and when they got to the date, they can now quit and offer services for that skill or talent, correct?
Yes, absolutely. But what I will say, I didn't quite hear what you said, but about setting a quit date. When I say set a quit date, start your freelance career. By all means, start. Don't set a date by which you want to start freelancing. Start freelancing now. Do what you can do now, whether it means getting a website or getting a writing sale, whatever you start now. Set a quit date means set a date that you want to quit your full-time job. Say if it's 2 years from now, say, okay, I'm going to take the first 6 months to learn a skill. I'm going to get my website, and then I'm going to start marketing, and then you work up to that. But if you have a big old red date circled on your calendar, I want to quit by then, it really lights a fire under you, because you see your dreams in real time because if you're just thinking, I want to freelance, there's nothing definitive about that. I want $10 million, but I don't have it. But what am I doing if I want to? What am I doing to get there? Dreams are just, goals. You have to set a date. And, if you want to do anything, accomplish anything, you got to put a date on it and set a defined plan of action of how you're going to get there.
All right, great. So I know that you do a lot of writing online. So tell me, what ways can we make money by writing online?
Well, I'll tell you from my experience. I make money writing in 4 different ways. I write for clients. I self-publish. I self-publish fiction and nonfiction. I create and develop online courses, which is all writing. And that's something people don't think about. Creating and develop, it's writing. And then I do blogging and affiliate marketing, and that's writing. So those are my 4 income streams. And like now, like I said, I've been freelancing for so long. I don't have to take on freelance writing projects. I only take on those projects that pay me what I want, that I enjoy, because I have other income streams. I'm not tied to just that stream of income. And it's nice. It makes freelancing much more fun when you don't have to take on a job. Because I remember there were days I had this job is paying $15 for a blog post, and it's about ice skating equipment, which I know nothing about, but you know what? I got to take it because I got bills to pay, So.
I know. I totally understand. So you're encouraging freelancers to take on multiple jobs at a time in order for them to have multiple streams of income.
Well, I say start with one, though, in the beginning, because my career has evolved over time. Remember, I've been doing this for a long time. But when I looked up in 2010 and saw that over half of my income had come from products and services that I had created, e-courses and ebooks and stuff, I was like, I can make this a bona fide, viable second income stream. And I did, so I kind of got into it. I kind of fell into self-publishing and stuff. And then I kind of fell into e-course, and I tried to be more strategic about the blogging and affiliate marketing. I said, I want to make this work. So 3 out of 4 income streams that I had, I've kind of fallen into them. This last one, blogging and marketing, I'm intentional about it. It's a lot of, I don't want to make it sound easy for anybody. It's a lot of work. But the last thing I'm afraid of, or anybody who wants to, you should be afraid of, is hard work. That's the easy part. The hard work is the easy part.
All right. So I realize that you're saying throughout the years you've fallen into many things that you didn't even realize that you did. Self-publishing and the writing. I was fascinated by you many years ago after learning about you, because I didn't realize that people were buying short romantic novels online.
Oh yeah, it's a naughty little secret.
I remember back in the day, my classmates would buy the romance novels like Mills and Boons and all those.
Harlequins.
Yes. And they would read it and I would be like, why in the world people would buy it? Because I was not fun for those things, yeah? But
Right.
I want to ask you about that niche that you have garnered for yourself. Tell me more about the demand there and your target market and how you make money by writing.
By self-publishing romance. Okay. Oh, this is another one. Like I said, I fell into it. But number one, I have always been a romance reader, even from a preteen. I read Harlequins, so it's a genre that I happen to love. And romance happens to be the number one selling genre of all time. Just think about it. It's a form of sex, whether it's, hard sex or soft sex. And sex sells. So that's in love. It's an eternal theme. So it sells. And I used to be embarrassed that I wrote romance. Now I'm like, why? I read it. Why am I embarrassed about it? So beyond that. So, but long story short is I have a sister who's a writer as well. One of my sisters, and she wrote a short romance novel. She's always been a writer, not romance, just other stuff. But she said this novel idea came to her and she just spit it out in like a week. It was like 65 pages, a little short. And she put it up on Amazon. And then like 3 weeks, she had made like $1,100. I'm like, what? So
what?
Like, literally.
Hold on. She did a 65-page novel in 3 weeks. Yeah. And she made how much?
Like $1,100. Like yeah. And she was just, but like I said, she's always been a writer, creative person. And she said this romance. She'd never written romance before. She'd written other stuff, but not romance. Right. So she put it up on Amazon and sold. And I'm like, what? So I said, I could do that. And then I wrote one. And then the first one, it bombed, bad. So I'm like, that was just a fluke. But she continued to write them. And she's like, Wanda, maybe you should change genres because I write multicultural romance, usually what they call BWWM, Black woman, white man. But the thing is, I don't mention race in mine now. It's just you just slap a cover on there because people buy covers and by niche, saying it could be any couple, but people want to see that genre, and it just happens to be a niche that sell. But just like this is a good time to say niche in anything that you do, whether it's freelance writing or graphic design or what is really important. Like when I decided to specialize in SEO writing, because I got a lot of work because that was my niche and I knew it. This was back in 2007, 2008 when not a lot of freelancers were doing it. So niche is very, very, very important because my first romance novel was an African-American love story to, two Black people, and it just didn't sell well. So I wrote another one. It took me another year because my sister said, why don't you try writing a multicultural? So I just wrote basically any story. I could have slapped any couple on there, but I slapped a Black woman, white man cover, and it sold like crazy. It's, I'm like, I repeated her success. Then I'm like, I just can't believe that's so
the interracial relationship sells.
It is, and that's why I continue to write. People say, "Oh, you not like Black men or whatever." Like my boyfriend is a big old Black Jamaican man, But I was married to my husband. My ex-husband was from Argentina, so I do have experience with interracial romance. But I happen to prefer Black men. But nothing against interracial couples at all. But it's just, to me, romance writing is a business. I write what sells, and like I said, my stories, they don't get into race or anything like that. It's just I snap that cover on there and people say, oh, this is an interracial romance. So it's all about your mind, what you're thinking when you're reading, that type of thing. But I write romance because it sells, and interracial romance sells really well.
All right. So I like what you just said, that you write what sells.
Okay, it's a business.
Go into business, or we do freelance work because we like it, which is great, but does it sell?
Exactly.
Good business plan. I like what you said about making sure you have a business plan, because if you have a plan to do your freelancing or to do any business, and I think at the end of the day, you are not making a profit, then you're
exactly. Or people say, this is another time to say another piece of advice that I like to eschew a little bit is people say, follow your passions. And I believe that to a certain degree. I had a business mentor tell me years ago, probably, 20, 25 years ago, he said, that's a load of crap. And I'm like, Irvin, why could you say that? He's like, I did a business for 30 years that I hated. And he happened to sell it for like $40 million, but he was in the staffing business. And so was I at the time. But he was like, you give people a service genres that they want. And he's like, I landed up on something that made me money. He's like, I don't hate what I do, but I'm not in love with it either. But now, and then when he retired, he was the happiest man alive. So like I'm not in love with writing. People are like, oh, you must love writing. No, I really don't. I just happen to be good at it. I have an undergraduate degree, an AA degree in English. I've always liked the written word. I like reading, and I happen to be a proficient writer. I'm not brilliant, I'm no, Alice Walker, Morrison, I'm not brilliant, but I have a knack. I don't struggle to write. So it's a skill that I can put to use and make money. And I love the freedom that writing allows me. Like I get to travel, like, oh, my boyfriend is in Antigua. Okay, I'm going to go there for a few months. Oh, I have a friend in Jamaica. Oh, I have an apartment in Jamaica. I'm going to go there for a few months. So I say, do what you can. I don't want to say tolerate. Don't do something you hate. Definitely don't do that. That's life killing. But this idea of do what you love and the money will follow. I kind of think that's a little bit of a little crap that we've been sold to a certain degree. Like I said, I'm not saying do something that you hate. It's a fine line, but not all of us get to do what we love forever. I love the life that writing allows me to live.
And that's what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's listen. This is good information, Yolanda, good information. I see people are streaming in right now with us. So welcome, guys, again. I want you to leave your questions in the comment box because we're not going to stop Wanda. We're just going to continue with her. And then almost about to the end of the interview, we're going to turn over to you, the fans. And we want you to ask questions based on what we're talking about. The topic today is freelancing during COVID-19. How can you make money using your computer, selling things, and using your talent right here online? So I heard you said, Yolanda, that you have an associate's degree in English, correct?
Yes. And I have a bachelor's in sociology, and I did 1 year of a master's as well. So yeah, a lot of college.
I need to write anything online. Do I need a degree in English or a degree at all?
No. If you have a firm grasp of whatever language you speak, and you have a computer and an internet connection, you can become a freelance writer. I mean, you can't be a horrible writer, but you don't have to be a genius either. And one thing I think a lot of people don't know is they're thinking you have to have all of these degrees. No, most people go online to search for information. Businesses hire people to make information relatable. So really, like, you don't need to know big words and all of that. Like, just, I don't want to say dumb it down, but just everyday language. And a lot of the compliments I've heard from many clients over the years is you make the stuff so relatable. Like, they'll give me a highly complex piece of marketing stuff, and I'm like, no wonder you guys are not selling, because it's over the head of most people. Most people just want information that they can understand. And so if you have you can read and write really well, you understand the English language, you can teach yourself to become a freelance writer. I have almost 4,000 people in my courses on Teachable, and some of them are on school, like they're high school. Some people don't even have a high school diploma. And one guy, from Scotland, he didn't even speak, his language that well. He had to kind of teach, and he went on to become wildly successful. So anybody can do it. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie about that. But no, you do not need a degree or any other type of, specialized training or anything like that. No.
All right. So I'm glad you mentioned that you have persons who come from different languages, and sometimes they want to write English, even though English is not their first language. Now, I want to ask you the specific question. Do you translate your novels into other languages so that you can target other speakers?
No. Maybe if I get a traditional contract one day again, and they want to do that, but I earn enough from my writings to make me very happy, and that's outside the scope of my expertise, to be honest. Now that's something, because I love self-publishing, and it would take a lot of money for a publisher to hire me, because I'm like, no, I can write this book and make money off it forever, because you give up a lot of rights when you get a traditional publishing contract.
Right.
So, but that's something, if, you know, if they threw a hunk of money at me and then they say, oh, we want to translate it into different languages, knock yourself out. It's outside my scope. I would be more than happy to do that. But no, I don't do that myself, because I just literally don't have the time to learn about it. And I earn more than enough to keep me happy.
All right, because we do have persons from Jamaica who live in Colombia, who live in Hong Kong, who live in Taiwan, who live in China, and maybe right there in wherever they're living, they're planning to, say, write a novel, write a short story, and translate it in the language where they're living, right? And then promote it. So I think that would be a good way to do so.
Venice, don't do that. I was going to say, you have to remember, when you sell on Amazon, because that's still where like 95% of my sales, about 90% of my sales come from, you are selling to the entire world. And so you don't have to say, right, just because you live in China, worry about, you know, only Chinese people buying your works. You know, if you're an English speaker and you don't, because to have a book translated costs a lot of money. So, you know, no, write it in your native language, put it up on Amazon, and get busy writing the next one. Don't worry about all of that stuff yet. You know, because Amazon sells worldwide.
Okay, I got you. So put it up on Amazon. Now, how do I market? Can I just put it up on Amazon and I get customers?
Well, that's the way it happened for my first book. Yeah, you put it up on Amazon. A lot of people publish stuff to Amazon and they get no, they get no sales. You do have to have a reason. Now we're talking about writing fiction, like the romance novels. Writing nonfiction is completely different and apart. So, but writing fiction, you can put your book up on Amazon. Fiction, you can put your book up on Amazon and you can get some readers, no readers, or a ton of readers. I think I got lucky in the sense of, self-publishing was pretty new, because I published my first romance novel in 2013, although I've been self-publishing nonfiction books since 2002. So I want to make that distinction. But I would say you can sell your books there are Amazon ads. I've tried those. There are Facebook ads. I've tried those. But your next book is always your best sales tool. The reason I do so well with romance writing, I think, is because I'm a prolific publisher. I mean, since 2013, I've published, I think, about 60 romance novels, and not a lot during the last couple of years. I'm just picking back up on it. And so sales will fall off, but as soon as you publish your very next book, usually sales pick up, because people go back and see, oh, she's got 40 other books. So they'll go back and they'll start picking up those.
Right.
So people in the beginning is just write, put out the best story that you can, get the professional cover, do everything that you can to make the best product, but don't worry about trying to make a ton of money off of one or two books. It's not going to happen that way. You need a back catalog. So don't even think about spending money on marketing or whatever until you have 3 or 4 titles under your belt. Then you can start experimenting, because it's easy to lose a lot of money really fast if you don't know what you're doing. So again, your next book, and when we're talking about fiction here, is always your next title. And then you learn as you go, and as you start to make profits, then you can kind of reinvest in that. But that's something I would tell people to invest in. Learn how to do Amazon ads right. Learn it from an expert, because I'm still not an expert in it. I dibble and dabble in it. Like I spend $5 to $15 a day to keep my sales at a certain level. But I'm not an expert in Amazon ads or Facebook ads, which, oh my God, they're a nightmare.
What about Instagram ads?
Huh?
Instagram ads.
You know what? I'm not even on Instagram yet. And people ask me all the time. I'm like, I'm on 6 social media outlets, and every time a new one comes on, and now there's TikTok. And I'm like, I'm not ticking or talking for anybody. I'm too old. You can get so sucked into these platforms that it can start taking time away from the real work, which is the writing. Instagram is going to be there. Like I'm always a late adopter, 2 to 3 years behind everybody else on adopting. I'm pretty entrenched with Facebook and Pinterest, and I update my Twitter account mostly daily. But I get a lot of my traffic from Facebook and from Pinterest, and I've just getting started with YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel forever and a day, but I hardly ever update it. But I just started recently. I don't have time for Instagram. Sorry, not yet.
All right, Wanda. one more question. So I know you have e-courses that you've done. Can you introduce me to the platform that you use to do your e-course, and how do you make money doing this e-course?
Well, I create and develop my e-courses. All of my e-courses are about how to make money writing. I have an SEO writing e-course, and I have a romance writing e-course, and then an e-course on how to create a course to make money. So they're all writing related, and I create e-courses based on my own experience, so that I can, tell people the real deal. I just would feel phony doing something that I had no experience with. So all of mine are taught from firsthand experience. And I have another one that's coming out next month, how to make money self-publishing nonfiction. So, and it's on Teachable. As you know, I know you have a course on Teachable too. So it's on Teachable. Because as you know, Teachable makes it so easy, doing e-courses is a lot of work. And so the last thing I wanted to worry about was the back end stuff. I did that before, having to mail the PDF files out and collect the money from PayPal. And when you update it, you got to resend the file. With Teachable, you don't have to do any of that. You just go in and update it, send all your students a note, hey, I updated this section, and it's automatic. They take care of all of that back end stuff. So, my school is inkwelleditorial.teachable.com. People can go there and see the courses. And I create and I do it on demand, where people will say, well, I want to learn how did you do romance? Well, yeah. And it took me like 3 years to break down and finally say, okay, I'll put together an e-course on it. So my students, my blog readers, they kind of tell me what they want. And if I feel like it'll be a moneymaker, I do a little validation, and then I'll go ahead and create the course. And as you know, people go and they buy the course, and that's how you make money.
All right, so I am going to address everyone right now. So I'm going to take you off screen for just 1 minute, and then I'll get back to you for the second part of our program. All right, guys. So I do hope that you have been enjoying Wanda's talk. We've been talking about freelancing during COVID-19, and I hope that you've been getting your questions ready and putting the questions in the comment box so that we can field the questions to Wanda. She can answer them as quickly as she can. Now I want to introduce to you a new course that I have to offer. It is a 30-hour Teaching English Online Freelancer course. This course will teach you how to not only create your own course, but also how to market your course, how to develop your own niche within the teaching English market, and how to get students, and how to sustain your course so that you can even build it into a school. So contact me at hellohappyteachers@gmail.com. That is hellohappyteachers@gmail.com. I'm going to put it down below in the banner so that you can see. So anyone that's interested in this kind of course, you can always contact me anytime, any place. Just ask a question and I'll get back to you. All right. Remember that you can also look at our website for any other courses that you'd like. It's www.happy-teachers.com. www.happy-teachers.com. All right. Okay, so we are back with Wanda.
Hi.
All right, so Wanda.
Yes.
This is what we're going to do now. We're gonna see if we can get some questions from the viewers. Okay. So let me see if there are any questions. I have a couple more questions that I wanted to ask. Sure. But I wanted to just see if there's anybody else who have questions. So let me go through my Facebook page right now.
Okay.
And we have a couple of persons streaming in. Okay, so from YouTube, somebody is asking, what tips would you give someone who's just beginning to be a freelancer? What tips would you give them to get students, especially if they're teaching a course?
Okay, so they're teaching a course and they want to get students?
Right.
Okay, the first thing I would say is to get a blog, and only because a blog is like your home on the web, and especially an interpersonal relationship like teaching, people are going to want to know a little bit about you. And it doesn't have to be, it can be a Wix blog. You don't even have to pay for hosting or anything like that. Just something that's a home on the web that explains what you do, who you are, why you're qualified to teach that course, because especially depending on how much you're charging, people like to spend money with people that they know what they're talking about, because the internet is like a world wide web out there. People throw up stuff all the time, and they don't have expertise in it, or whatever. So I say get a blog. It's your home on the web, and then start interacting on social media. There are a lot of mom groups or educational groups on Facebook. Join some of those groups. Participate. Most of them don't like for you to outright advertise, but become active in those groups, giving answering questions and stuff like that. And it's going to be a slower build. There's no magic bullet for doing this, but start getting yourself out there. Facebook groups is a great way to start doing that. And if you have the money, you can run Facebook ads, but I always try to get tips that say, don't involve money, because I understand most people are strapped for cash, and just be prepared for the long haul. Be consistent about it. Only engage in activities that you're going to stay consistent with. Where most people fail in freelancing is, number one, they never get over their fear. And number two is they do stuff thinking that it's going to be a quick, oh, well, that didn't work, let me try this. You've only been doing it for 2 weeks, so you got to do something that you're going to stick with, and do one or two things. Don't try to be all over the place. Like I said, I haven't joined Instagram yet. People are like, oh, you're not on Instagram. I ain't got time for Instagram. Not yet, so only do what you can afford to repeat and be consistent with it. And then over time, you will start to get clients.
All right. And I have a question. How do you market the course using your email list?
Well, my email list has been cultivated over a number of years. So I blog, as you know, I've had my blog since 1999, and I updated these days anywhere from. Yes, and it's gone through many. There, don't go on the Wayback Machine and look at it. Ooh, child, it's a hot mess. But I had it professionally done in 2008, and I've updated it. So I had a lot of material on there, and I get pretty good search engine juice from Google, because I have been at this for so long, and I've been in a defined niche for so long. And that's what I say. There's gold to be found in longevity. And so when I tell people like, oh, they want to duplicate my success, you can do better than me if you have money to spend by doing stuff like Facebook ads and Pinterest ads and Amazon ads. But if you don't have the money to spend, it's just going to be sweat equity. And so I say, yeah, you can repeat my success, but over time. So just get active, online, get that blog up, start, get your social media account set up, but don't try to be all over the place doing everything all the time. That just doesn't work.
So just focus on one thing, focus on your niche, and
first define a niche. A lot of people don't even do that. So define a niche. Like if you want to be a freelance writer, for example, pick a niche in freelance writing. SEO used to be a niche in and of itself, but now when you write online, you have to kind of know SEO. So that's kind of just a skill that you have to know. But say if you want to write for the insurance industry, or you want to specialize in legal, or just whatever, pick a defined niche, and that will allow you to choose your clients, find and choose clients easier as well. So you're not all over the place. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So welcome, Melissa Mackenzie. Welcome, Shauna K. Clark. Welcome, Tamara. So Shauna K. is asking, how do I start freelancing, especially in writing?
How do you start being a freelance writer? Okay. Number one, you're going to need some writing samples, and the writing samples don't have to be for actual clients. For example, if you want to be specializing in the insurance industry, sit down and write 3 or 4 writing samples about the insurance industry. Nobody asked for your samples and go, oh, which client did you write this for? Nobody asked that. All they see is, oh, there are 3 writing samples in the insurance industry. These are really well done. That's all they care about. And that's a misnomer. People think, oh, how do I get clients if nobody gave me a chance? Well, you can just sit down, make some writing samples, and send them off to clients. And I recommend cold emailing and cold calling. Most people are terrified by cold calling, but it's probably the number one way you can get clients. But cold emailing works too. It used to be easier, but it still works. It just takes longer to work these days.
Okay. All right. Melissa says, how can you make money via blogging through AdSense, or is that too complicated?
Ooh, child, I would not advise anybody to try to make money with Google. Let me tell you a little story. Last year in 2019, I made a total of $124 with Google ads on my site. And as I said, I've been blogging since 1999. I
Oh my
have a few
word.
thousand pages of content. Google pays squat. The way you make money blogging is with affiliate products, creating your own products, and joining ad networks. So, and I, I'll put all this in a report that I'm going to write up, about ad networks and stuff like that. But when I first signed up with my ad network back in February, I made over $200 that first month. Now, remember, I made $124 all of last year with Google. One
Mhm.
month with an ad network, I made over $200. So therein lies the difference. But blogging is another thing. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You got to stick with it, and you got to pick the right niche. Most people think, oh, I'm going to go with my passion. There's another one. No, don't do that. Unless your passion happens to be something like
That's it.
finance or a fashion that sells, because not everything online sells. Not everything is a good niche to monetize, to make money blogging. Like, I wouldn't advise anybody to start a blog about freelance writing. It's a very low paying niche. It's hard to monetize. The only reason I make money at it is because I have a reputation in it. But I've developed courses and written
Right.
ebooks and other stuff, around it. But I would say do something like finance or insurance or legal, the boring crap that nobody likes to do, but it's easy to monetize. Yeah, and it just pays. Google likes that type of content, so it pays more when you go with an ad network and finding products and services to promote via your blog, because the money is going to come once you get that traffic, up there.
And then I would also encourage people to develop their brand around what they're planning to do for freelancing. If you're planning to be a freelancing writer, then start, as you said, create a Facebook group of writers, or
Right.
create a Facebook group about the niche that you're planning to go into. So
Right.
start getting known, because you made a good point just now. The reason why you're doing, or the reason why you're successful with certain things, is because you're well known. You've been doing it for years.
I've
So
been
you
doing it for
have
years.
that reputation in the
Right.
industry of being a romance writer or being an SEO writer, whatever it
Right.
is.
Mm-hmm.
So develop that, and it's going to take time for you to build a reputation, right?
Right, right. Yeah, it does take time to build. But the thing is, it doesn't have a lot. The one thing I want to stress is it doesn't have to take a long time to be successful in freelancing. It all depends on if you have the budget, if you can spend money. Like, I know people who have started a blog literally, and a year later they were able to quit their job. But that's because they had, $500 or $600 a month to start out spending Facebook ads. I mean, Facebook ads, if you learn how to do those suckers right, it can really catapult your career. But
Right.
most people don't have an extra $500 or $600 to start with. Now, the person that I'm talking about, he makes about $1.5 million a year from his blog, but he spends $30,000 to $40,000 per month in
On
Facebook ads.
active, right?
And it took him 3 years to get to that point, where he's, he in the first year he started making, I think it was like $15,000 or $20,000 per month. But it's because he taught himself how to do Facebook ads, and then you can really, your traffic can go through the stratosphere. So it doesn't have to take a long time. But what I want people to know is, if you don't have that type of budget, your sweat equity is going to be, and that's a longer haul, but it is so worth it. So many times I wanted to give up freelancing or to do something else, but I'm so glad I stuck with it through all those lean years, because
Right.
now when I develop a new product, people's like, oh yeah, they can Google me online and say, oh yeah, she's legit, just by the stuff that pops
Right.
up, good and bad. And you want some bad stuff out there about you, because nobody has a stellar reputation with no bad stuff. They're like, oh yeah, that's just a hater. So they look over that and they go, oh yeah, she's been doing this for a while, she's legit.
All right. So I just want to make a point for all the viewers out there. Please ensure that when Joanna is speaking, she says $10,000, she's talking about 10,000 US dollars. We're not talking
Yes.
about Jamaican dollars now. US dollars, people. So bear that in mind. All right. So I love that you talk about sweat equity, that nothing comes easy. We got to work hard. And this fast paced world that we're in, this microwave world that we're in, where you think you can just go in and start writing, and within a month you can make money and you can quit your job and just live life forever after that. You know what I mean? It just does not work that way.
It
And you
doesn't.
do get those unicorns every now and again, where
Yeah.
you get one person that will come on and do, whether it's freelancing or teaching or doing e-courses, and and they'll do maybe 1 or 2 courses and they really hit it big. But just like the lotto, that is what, 1 in 1,000,000 chances, or 1 in 1,000,000 chances. So you've got to put in the work. You've got to build up that sweat equity. Can you talk a little bit more about your journey and your sweat equity in building your brand?
Well, you know what? I am an accidental freelancer. I tell you, I've used that word a lot, but I fell into freelance and I worked in publishing in New York for 10 years. My sister actually started freelancing for the publishing company. We would do projects on the side, and then somebody kind of ratted us out to HR one day, and so they called us in and say, "Oh, you can't work for the company and take freelance projects on the side." It's not something we were hiding. We didn't even know we were doing anything wrong, and we weren't, because and they said, well, you either have to quit or stop taking on the projects. So at the time we were almost making more from the side projects than we were at our full-time jobs, me and my sister. So she said, I'll quit, because she's the business entrepreneur. You know, she was always more business minded than I was. So she said, I'll quit. And then she quit, and they continued to funnel projects our way. We got other clients. A year later, once the business could afford to pay two salaries, I quit. But then not long after that, 9/11 happened, you know, and our business went in the toilet. And so we had to find a way to survive. And I'm so glad that happened, because now I've seen the 2008 thing, and now this COVID-19. I've seen this before. And one thing I want to tell people is, we will survive this. You will always survive. So don't fear that, because human nature is to survive. But it's what you do during this downturn that can make the difference as to how well you survive after this is over. So what I do, always take action to be getting yourself to the next level, whether it's a training or whether it's reaching out to new clients. And I just tell people, oh, it's now a good time to freelance. You bet your bottom dollar it is. And you may have to contact 50 clients to pick up that one, whereas before you only had to contact 10 to pick up one. But all you got is time right now. And I think, like you said, I love that you use the microwave world that we live in. It's so true. People think everything has happened just like that. It rarely happens for most of us like that. Nothing has ever happened for me like that. I tell you, it seems like I'll try something. I'm like, oh my God. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm just cursed. You know, and I'm like, what? And it's just but the thing is, it's so much sweeter once you put in that work. So I fell into freelancing. Like I said, I just happened because I worked at a publishing company, and I had good contacts, but then they started shipping stuff overseas. And so we had to basically rebuild the business from scratch. And I'm glad I learned how to do that. And then once I got a taste of freelancing, I couldn't imagine not freelancing. I couldn't imagine not, having to ask somebody to go on vacation, and then, you only have a week or 2 weeks every, year. I just couldn't. So I just worked my tail off to be able to keep it, that way. I expanded my service offerings. I learned new skills. I just did whatever I had to do to make it work. And I work, like I tell you, after 2008, I worked like a dog for 2 years. I'm telling you, Venice, I took on $5 article writing jobs where people say, oh, I can't believe you write for that. You're making it look bad for all of us, bringing the rate down for all of us. But I'm like, can I call all y'all when my mortgage is due on the front, and y'all chip in so I don't take on this job? Do what works for you, especially when it comes to pricing. Because there will be a lot of people, even in your own family, that are gonna like maybe bring you down, or are you crazy, or that's never gonna work, or whatever. Yeah. Ignore the naysayers. Keep your nose to the ground. Have belief in yourself. If you put in the work and you're doing a defined plan, I promise you it will work, because the universe works to reward hard work. I truly believe that, and I've seen it in my own career. And you don't know where it's going to come from. Sometimes you just like, oh God, what am I doing wrong? And then all of a sudden something will drop in your lap. Okay. Yeah, hard work is its own reward. It really does get rewarded, but you can't work stupidly, i.e. without a plan or willy-nilly. This week I'll do something. You got to be consistent about it, and you got to have a plan. And if something's not work, don't be afraid to switch it up. Try this, not unless you give it a good old hearty try. But if you see that something is not working after you've been doing it for a while, you're like, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Do I need to fine tune this, that, or the other? But okay, this is not working. Let me move on to the next thing. But whatever you do, if you want to freelance, don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on it. But put in the work.
I am encouraged. And I know the viewers are encouraged too.
I hope so.
On your dream, work smart. You don't really have to work hard. You have to work smart,
Mhm.
right? Don't make
Yeah.
those mistakes that everyone else is making. Look and see what people are doing, and whatever mistakes they're making, don't make those.
Yeah.
You follow your path. You put your nose down to the ground, and you work hard. All
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
All right. Hi, Renard. Renard is actually a student at University of Technology. I
Oh,
was
okay.
asking, as a student teacher, how can I make an income while studying?
Well, especially with tech, if you have, that type of background, that's a high paying writing niche. I would say, if I had that background, I would specialize in tech writing, whether it's, writing like WordPress tutorials, because a lot of people don't like to do that type of writing. I know I don't. My brain doesn't function that way. Anything tech or science, it's just not me. So I would get up some writing samples, 3 or 4 writing samples, throw up a simple website. Again, you don't have to spend money for hosting, use free Wix, blog, or whatever. All you need is your profile up there, your educational background, some writing samples, your rates if you want to, and then just start contacting companies you think could use your services. And most of them would be like web development companies. They have a lot of clients, different types of clients. So usually what I found is once clients know you do one type of writing, but if they like your writing, they'll ask you to do other types of writing as well. So yeah, put yourself out there as a tech writer, start contacting some web development firms, and just go from there.
All right. Let me see if there are any other questions out there. Hi, Valerie. Valerie, we're talking about how you can make money freelancing during COVID-19. So thanks for joining, Valerie. Let me see if there are any more questions. I know there are quite a few students who are maybe viewing right now who need some ideas as to what they can do to earn. So persons without degrees and persons who just need to earn so that they can finish school and go on with their professional life. Or maybe if they start freelancing and they love it, even after graduation, they'll continue with freelancing.
I wish I had started while I was in college. I really do. I wish I had started. Don't let just because you're in school stop you. I really wish I had started while I was in college. Yeah. And tutoring is a great way to make money, especially right now. Parents are being driven crazy with kids at home, and they're doing work that they don't know how to do. Like I have a girl in Jamaica. A lot of people think she's mine. She's 12 now. I've known her since she was 3, and she's to geometry. Ooh, child, I done lost a lot of hair over that one. I'm like, next when school starts, I am getting her a tutor because I'm like, I'm Googling stuff before I get online with her to explain it to her because I need to understand it myself. So students, college students, prime opportunity to be an online tutor. So many parents need the help right now.
All right. So reach out to persons. My suggestion would be just do a quick Facebook poster, put it up on your page and say, hey, I can
absolutely.
I can tutor your kids in math, in English, in social studies, in science, whatever it is. And people will pay you because right now the parents are now the teachers.
And they don't want to be.
I'm going crazy and I'm a teacher. So
imagine those of us who are not teachers.
How do people manage with more than one kid in this COVID crisis? I don't know.
I say that all the time. I don't even have kids. And I'm like, I'm glad I never did, especially now the home, because I have a nephew. He's 26 now, thank God. But he stayed with me for like 6 months one time. And I used to have to help him with the homework. On the days that he would come home and say, Auntie, I don't have any homework, I'd be like, hallelujah.
I can just imagine. All right, so I'm still scrolling through just to see if there are any more questions because we want to ask as many questions as possible to Miss Wanda. But while I'm looking for questions, Wanda, can you just tell us where we can find you and where, tell us about your social media platforms?
Okay, my main website is inkwelleditorial.com, and on there that you'll see a contact button, and that all my social media platforms and more about me is on there. But I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. a couple of more. I can't remember, but Facebook is my main one, and Pinterest. I do those pretty much, and Twitter. Those are the main places that you can find me. And my handle is usually at Inkwell Editor, not Inkwell Editorial, but INKWELLEDITOR. So at Inkwell Editor on Pinterest and on Facebook. Oh, on Facebook, I'm actually Inkwell Editorial. So just go to the contact page on inkwelleditorial.com. You'll find out about me and where I am.
All right, so you have it there, inkwelleditorial.com, where you can contact Wanda. She does courses. Tell us about the courses that you do on Teachable.
Oh, well, like I said, there are four as of next month. They're all about some ways to make money writing. The SEO writing it's a course about how to become a freelance, basically online writer, because SEO, even though it's search engine optimization, for those who don't know, is all about writing content in a way to help businesses get found online. But all online writers these days must know some form of SEO. So that one. Then the romance writing, it's about how to make money writing romance. Very simple. And then the other one is a course about how to create your own course from your set of defined knowledge. Like you're a teacher, Venice, and you have a course. Yes. So you created that course based on your skills and abilities. And a lot of people don't realize you have skills and abilities that somebody will pay for, likely. You have knowledge that you may not even know that you have. Yeah. So in that course it teaches people how to tap into whatever that knowledge is and maybe design a profitable course around that. And then the other one that's coming next month is how to make money self-publishing nonfiction how-to books, which is what I've been doing since 2002.
Because I told you the other day, Wanda, that I created this Teachable platform and I put up my course, and it was probably up for a year or two, and I didn't even go back to check because I was busy doing other things. I'm building my own business.
Shame on you, Venice. Shame on you.
And people actually came on. They enrolled in my school and paid for the course, and I didn't know.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I didn't know I had 40 students. What?
Oh, my God.
I didn't know. What?
Well, now that you know, I hope you're doing something about that, upping your marketing.
I am on it. So, the whole point of the matter is when you do start your Teachable course, or you create one and you put it up there and you start to market, students will come, they will find you and they will enroll. And not only that, they probably will ask you to do consulting work. So not only would you get to sell your e-courses via Teachable, you can also get other work through that means.
It's a way to, like you were talking about earlier, I'm sorry to cut you off, but build your brand. It's like writing a book. You may not make money from the book, but it's just it gives you more the online cred. People are like, oh, she's written a book, and oh, she has a course, she must know her stuff. So yeah, it definitely leads to other opportunities. Absolutely.
All right, so one more last quick run through to see if there are any more questions, and then we have got to go. Okay, so Renard is saying thank you. Shana K says thank you. Melissa says thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome, y'all.
Really, really grateful for the information that you've given us. It has been excellent, Wanda. And you said you were nervous.
I was nervous about everything going right, from the technology. And I want to thank you. I want to tell your audience in particular, Venice talked me into doing this webinar, you guys. I was like, I'm not doing a webinar. I'm nervous about being on camera. She's like, no, you can do this. But the one thing that got me to do it is because when she approached me about the subject matter, it's so needed. And I love to help people succeed, especially during this time. So kudos to you, Venice, for coming up with this subject matter. It's so needed. And that's really what's like, don't be selfish. God has given you a gift. You're very blessed. And I wanted to share, as much as information as I could to help as many people, as I can, as obviously you do too, because especially for teachers, you go to school all that time and you help so many people all the time. You can take those, you have a highly valuable and marketable skill set. And you don't have to use it to just teach in a classroom or the way you've been doing. It's one thing I want people to realize. You can take that skill set and extrapolate it and use it in many different ways, so, when this is over, you may have a whole new career if you take action to do that. So thank you, Venice, again, for pushing me to do this, for giving me this. God works in mysterious ways. I truly believe that, because you tried to get me to do this 2 years ago. Remember? You did. And I never did. I'm like, I'm going to get on it. And I never did, because I'm a big old chicken. And it's funny how it circled back. Like I said, God works in mysterious ways. It circled back to you, the very first one, to get me to do my very first webinar. Yes, people, this is my very first webinar. So thank you, Venice.
You are a natural. So we are hoping that you'll be doing more webinars on your YouTube.
Oh, girl, I'm going to be a webinar queen now. You're going to be like, what you doing another webinar? I'm going to have you on my webinar.
Of course. All right, guys. So this is it. This is the end. It was excellent. And I'm sure you got a lot of information from Miss Wanda Black. Of course, you can find her information at Editor on her social media platforms, and hit her up on her website, www.inkwelleditorial.com. So I know you enjoyed this session. So wait, next week there is more. I will have another guest speaker with another important topic that we'll talk about, so that we can educate you as to what you can do during this time to make some money online. So see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.